night, monitor the internet just like you would a weather or traffic report. And before you invest tons of time into your first mod, try Yoshi's Quick Start modding projects. Plus, Kevin crashes cars at the Vehicle Research Center. He's always getting into trouble. It's live from the Tech TV studios in San Francisco, and it's the Screensavers!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, in the world's largest jib shot. Welcome to the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Norton.
And I'm Kevin Rose. Thanks for joining us on the Screensavers, the place for hacks, cracks, overclocking, modding, pretty much anything and everything that has to do with technology.
And exploiting it.
That's right.
Yes, tonight we have a great show. Kevin goes inside the Vehicle Research Center to see the technology behind crash tests and the dummies. Yoshi's here with 5 quick and easy mods. But now, though.
Now, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, for that moment you've all been waiting for. Mr. Dan Heward!
Oh, my God, not bad. It worked the other day, didn't it?
Try it again.
Mr.
Ladies
Dan
and gentlemen.
Heward! There we go. There we go.
It's me. Thank you very much. Thank you. I try very hard. Hey, give me a call. The phone number is 888-989-7879. Also, email us at thescreensavers@techtv.com. Don't forget, our web forms are down, so type in thescreensavers@techtv.com. That will get your final emails that way.
Now we got a question for Yoshi, though. Yoshi, are you doing 5 mods?
5 mods?
5 mods
in 5 minutes.
5 mods in 5 minutes. That's out of control.
But now, let's start with the tech news that caught our eye today. Sarah has the first story.
I certainly do. It's a really sad one, actually. A security hole rated as extremely critical has been found in Microsoft's Internet Explorer web browser. If you click a link that takes advantage of this hole, a script could run that may install and execute what else but malicious code. Unfortunately, a patch is not even currently available, so the best way to prevent your computer from being compromised is to unplug it.
This one sounds pretty bad.
Actually, rather than unplug it, why don't you use Mozilla, Mozilla.org, or Opera, or any Firefox, any non-Internet Explorer
I was
browser.
trying to be dramatic.
You were being dramatic.
Good.
But if people shut off their computers, they won't need to watch us anymore, and then we'll be unemployed.
No.
So
Pay no attention to what I said.
Exactly. Use Mozilla, use Opera, use another browser. Rob Lemos, actually, the best information we've seen on this so far has come from cnetnews.com. Check out an article by Rob Lemos. He's the only person that got anybody from Microsoft to really comment on this. And it's so far there's a company that's actually using this to install adware on systems. And Stephen Toulouse, the security program manager for Microsoft, says, we considered any use of an exploit to run a program as criminal use. They're working with the FBI. They're trying to get somebody to convict on this. Basically, one of the first, and this is pretty, adware is pretty benign for this. What it could, however, do is you could launch software to wipe somebody's machine, to take information out of there. But if you keep scrolling down, this was first discovered yesterday by some researchers in Europe, but Toulouse says Internet Explorer users could harden the software against such attacks by following instructions on the company's site, which is the ever-popular and somewhat less than effective increase your browsing and email safety, which includes 1, set the security level to high, 2, add websites you consider safe to trusted sites, hope you guessed right on what's safe, and 3, use plain text to read email messages you receive, because anything in
Now, are they saying this is going to patch it, actually, or is this going to... No, so this is just some tips.
Harden it. This will help.
Okay, so we recommend installing Firefox, and Firefox is probably both of our favorite browser.
Yeah.
Now, Sarah, don't you have some tweaks next week that you're going to do on Firefox?
I believe, yes, next Thursday, Firefox tweaks. It's fun because there's so many things you can do with it. It's my new favorite browser. I know your guys' too, so those are coming up soon.
Install it now, and then next week, Sarah will give you some cool little tweaks for it as well.
This is actually so serious that Microsoft's actually considering not waiting till the end of the month, the July update, to do a security update for this. They're going to put an update for this as quickly as possible. Mozilla.org is the website to download Firefox.
Yep.
Moving right along, Apple announced their new Power Mac G5 today. It runs at 2.5 gigahertz and should be available sometime in July. However, this isn't the good news that Mac fans were hoping to hear, because 1 year ago, Steve Jobs had predicted that 3 gigahertz Power Mac G5s would be available by June 23rd of this year. At that time, the fastest Power Mac G5 was running dual 2 gigahertz processors, so 1 year later, the fastest G5s will still be running dual 2 gigahertz processors. I know you guys are disappointed.
You weren't disappointed this morning. You were pissed. You were angry. You wanted Steve's head on a stick.
I didn't want Steve's head on the stick. I just want a 3 gigahertz Power Mac. You know, I think that's really the one thing they did add though. You know, Apple's funny like this. Is every time they can't deliver on something, they add a special little feature like, hey, look at this over here. You know, this is much better. And then they've added water cooling to the G5s, which is cool. I think that's you know something I would like to have.
It's not water cooling. It's a heat pipe.
No, they added water cooling now.
Is that what we're calling it now? A heat pipe is now water.
Well, there's water inside of it. It's water cooling going over the processors.
I don't think it's water.
Dude, trust me, I read the article. It's water cooling.
You read the article.
It's on Apple's site. It is water cooled now on the new high-end.
It must be true.
It must be true if it's on Apple's site.
I don't know. We'll take a look at that.
It's sad though. I mean,
you were funny this morning. You're like, Steve Jobs lied. He said there was going to be a 3 gigahertz processor in a year.
He did lie.
You've since tempered your
Yes,
fervor.
I'm smooth. I'm zen.
You're mellow.
Yes.
And we'll learn more about this water cooling / heat pipe. Looks like a heat pipe. Maybe it is water cooling.
We'll check it out in commercial break.
Good stuff.
Thanks for the news, Sarah.
You guys are like a couple of bickering old ladies sometimes.
We try hard.
It's great. Love it.
We're hoping for our own version of the Golden Girls in the future.
That'd be nice.
Yes!
Kenny joins us on the G4 Tech TV NetCam Network from Santa Clarita, California.
Hey, Kenny.
Hey.
What's up?
Well, I'm trying to put a monitor in a case side by side with the computer so I can take it to the game server.
Okay.
And I was curious if when the monitor degausses, is it going to destroy any data on my hard drive?
Okay.
Wait,
you're a little close to the net cam. May want to back away. We're seeing forehead right now. That's about all we're seeing.
Well, and an eyebrow.
And an eyebrow. He's locked up. Okay. The net cam's locked up. Dan tried.
So, Kenny, let me see. You just said degaussing. That to me means CRT. That's the big, scary television, giant capacitor blow you across the room if you touch the wrong part of it. You're putting a CRT monitor inside of a metal case.
No, I want to put the computer components inside of a CRT case.
Oh, okay.
That's a step safer. In theory, right? You shouldn't be degaussing the hard drive if you put it next to the monitor. I don't think the degaussing on the monitor is strong enough to erase the hard drive.
Well, he said inside of the monitor is what he wants to put it.
Right.
Which is
pretty
degaussing,
close
to the degaussing unit.
I can see Yoshi is like, no, I don't think so. It takes a huge amount of magnetism to degauss a hard drive.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would clean it, but just I didn't want to have a corrupt software.
I'd be much more worried about shocking myself in the process of making it run and or creating a fire hazard or an electrical hazard.
I was going to say, most people think you unplug the monitor, they're good to go, you can open it up. That's not the case.
No. Matter of fact, we actually showed that about working on monitors a couple of years ago, where you actually have to physically touch it down. Yeah, I remember the big, giant, 4-inch long spark.
You were a little worried.
Well, yeah, but I've actually seen someone blown 7 feet across a room into a wall because they hit the wrong part of the back of a monitor. Yoshi, any advice for this particular mod?
Well, the whole CRT monitor opening up, it's not that big a deal. It's, the worst thing, death or third-degree burns. I mean, come on. I'd be very, very careful, like Pat said. I'd actually think about maybe doing a flat panel inside of a regular case, be a lot lighter, just for weight. I don't know if you want to carry around like a 50, 60-pound mod.
I'm thinking you kind of, what size of the monitor you have, Kenny? Are you doing this
It's a 15-inch.
I don't think you're going to fit an ATX motherboard inside of a 15-inch
You'll have to go
mini
mini
from the
ATX.
case of it
What's that?
open up. I was going to have it open up where it goes down in the back, where the tube, gets smaller in the back, just goes straight back to a box.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's actually, I don't know. What do you think, Yosh? That makes me nervous.
Well, I mean, it's possible.
I
You're
got
just going to
the
be
idea
adding a
from
lot
the,
more volume to the box. It's going to be a lot bigger than the standard monitor.
I got the idea from the station TV mod that Yoshi wanted to do.
Oh, except for actually, I was going to incorporate a flat panel into that old CRT tube, so I was giving myself a lot more room that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kenny, we're going to wish you luck. We're going to tell you that we don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, Kenny, don't do this yourself. Seek some professional help. You need to talk to somebody that really knows what they're doing inside there.
Yeah, I'm also assuming you're probably well under the age of 18. This is one you tell mom and dad about. You make sure they're around in case you do stop your heart so that somebody knows to call 911 when the noises stop coming from your room. Trust me on this one. But yeah, think about doing an LCD mod, thinking about putting an LCD on a case. You're going to end up with a little tiny monitor with a big thing sticking out the back of it, and you're running a pretty serious health risk, Kenny. But good luck.
And you do get a T-shirt. That is one good thing out of this whole deal. If you survive, you'll be wearing this nice brand new Tech TV Screensavers T-shirt.
You learned this from Steve Jobs.
Yes.
We're just getting started. Yoshi's going to show you 5 of his quickest and easiest mods ever. And after the break, see what prolific freeware programmer AnalogX has been working on. He's going to show you how you can download it today and just what it is. We're going to tell you when the Screensavers continue. written an outstanding number of excellent freeware programs, not to mention being a longtime friend of the Screensavers. We want to welcome Mark Thompson, a.k.a. AnalogX, back to the Screensavers. You've got a new toy you've been working on. Yeah? And you're going to unveil it on the show today.
I'm going to unveil it on the show today.
This is exciting.
I know, isn't it?
What is it?
Well, as some people may or may not be familiar with, there's a site that I also operate called Internet Traffic Report. And what it does is basically track Internet trends as far as server connectivity all around the world.
A backbone crashes, packets have to be routed around it.
That's right.
Things start slowing down in North America.
That's right. And so you can actually, through ITR, get an idea of whether or not it actually is your connection or something else. And just to kind of give you an example, a couple years ago, UUNet had a big backbone outage. And these are the actual graphs from that day. And you can see a huge drop in performance that was directly related to that. And it's displayed in a really easy way. Basically, these numbers, it's from 0 to 100, and 100 being good.
Are you going to bring this to our desktop?
And that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it to your desktop.
Cool.
So, and actually running on this desktop, down in the system tray, is the ITR client. And so what it does, it runs in your tray.
So
and
all the way down, is that it right down there?
That's it right there. And it actually says the number that is the performance number. So you can see at any time what it is. I have it set to show overall, but you could show any region you were interested in. And then actually...
You can pick a region. Can I pick like the state or my county?
No,
or is it
only
more of a
region for right now.
Okay.
So, but you can also do tests from here that are common ways to test your connection. So we can do like a trace route, and we can trace from here to Google.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's and so we can actually see, and it shows all the different computers we go through and what kind of access time we're getting, and then the names of the computers, the network, and then also what cities that they potentially can be located in. It's kind of a soft target, but it gives you an idea if there's a problem geographically.
Because the company may be headquartered like in Bloomfield, Indiana, but have servers here in San Francisco.
That's right.
Or Northern California.
But it actually pulls them out. So like level 3 is located in Bloomfield, right? But it realizes San Jose and San Francisco.
Probably
for
more
different
likely
ones.
locally.
Yeah.
Very cool. How does it? I mean, what was the most interesting or the hardest part to put this together?
The hardest part, well, it's really just a bunch of different pieces, and some of it's just kind of things that I try to do for fun. Like I'll show you the ping. This is like what happens when you have too much free time on your hands. So ping, normally just gives you a time, and if you click ping on here, you actually see it. It does a real-time graph that just shows you what you're actually doing. We actually got a really big spike there, so it's normalized. So it pushed everything down again, but we can try it again and see. Oh, we got another big one.
Response time to the
Yeah,
server.
and so it's just kind of a fun graph to give you an idea of what your connectivity is like.
Very cool. Any other tools hidden away in there?
No, that's pretty much it.
That's a pretty good start.
That's a good start, and you can actually configure it so when you double click, what exactly it does. If it opens up the trace route or the ping tool or whatever, so you're good to go.
Outstanding. How much is this going to cost?
Well, normally it would be $19.95. However, today and for the rest of time, it will be free.
That's even better.
That's even better.
How do people at home are probably dying to get this? How do we get a hold of that?
So you can go to internettrafficreport.com, and on the right-hand side, there's a download link, or you can go to analogx.com, and you can download it from there. It's in the network tools.
Pretty much anybody who's interested in knowing whether it's their computer or the internet
that's
running faster should take a look at that.
That's right. Simple, easy way.
Any other tools people should be looking at if they want to track network performance up on your site?
This is the best. This is the easiest one. It's just kind of anybody can use, and it's good to go. So I'd probably recommend it. There's a lot of other fun tools there, though, like NetStat Live is a very popular one.
It's an amazing tool.
So that lets
good one to check out.
Yeah, that's a good one to check too.
So is there any other treats up there? I understand there's some music available.
That's right. I'm actually my CD, which has been like in the works for quite a while now. Is
forever. Like 9 years.
Forever. But, well, not 9 years.
4 years.
Not 4 years, like a year or two.
Okay.
And it's finally it's getting close. It's actually being mixed right now and everything else. And so I put 7 songs, 3 of which are new songs from the album, up on the website.
If you wrote less shareware, you might have more time to work on the album. I really probably shouldn't put thoughts like that in your head.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can actually play a little bit of one of the songs if you want to hear. Fire it up. Here you go. And these actually all have vocals, too.
Even better.
That's right.
Where did you come from?
Little transient house thing going on.
There you go. Yeah, very good.
Mark, excellent stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, This man makes nice toys for you. Programmer AnalogX. Go to his website. Get the new Internet Traffic Report utility. Check out the dozens of freeware items he's written up on his website. Check out the music, all on AnalogX.com. Thanks again, Mark. Thanks for having me. Ladies and gentlemen, still to come, get out your toolbox. Yoshi's here with 5 fast mods anybody can do. And up next, keep your iBook from falling asleep. Are you confused? You're going to find out more when the Screensavers comes back.
We're only 3 days away from the Screensavers LAN party.
Powered by NVIDIA.
The game is Battlefield 1942, the Desert Combat mod, version .7. It's got all new maps, weapons, and even a couple bug fixes.
Isn't the Screensavers LAN party tomorrow?
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
It is tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the Screensavers LAN
3
party.
days.
If you've had problems in the past, though, give the latest version of this game a
That's
try.
right. So to register, go to g4techtv.com/LAN party and click on register for our LAN party. There's a nice little link there. You're going to want to click that. And don't forget, you're going to need the full version of Battlefield 1942 to play. We will see you Thursday, tomorrow, for the Screensavers LAN party.
Good stuff. Brandon joins us on the phone from, is that Shingletown, California, Brandon?
Yeah,
Where is Shingletown, California, Brandon?
it's about 30 minutes away from Reading, and Reading's like 3 hours away from Sac.
Nice. I was born in Reading.
Oh, you real?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
Yep.
School's out. And I have a lot of free time on my hands, and I want to go war bicycling, war skating, but when I ever close my laptop, it falls asleep, so I can't keep, what was that? What am I using? Max Tumbler.
Okay. So war bicycling. This is the first I've heard of war bicycling.
We've seen war flying,
Yes.
war driving,
War puking.
war sitting, war whatting?
War puking. I call war puking. Last year, my parents took me ballooning. My dad
and you
went
did it from the
puking.
balloon.
When he puked, and I had my laptop with me.
So you're wanting to ride around on your bike. You want to ride around on your bike with your laptop and look for open wireless access points.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I pulled up a couple links on this. So one, you don't want, basically, if you've got an iBook, the problem is, right, you're closing the lid and the machine shuts down.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, depending on whether it's a PC or an iBook, a lot of PCs will actually allow you to select in power settings in the BIOS what happens when you shut the lid.
Right.
Sometimes it's in the power controls inside of the control panels. What you want it to do is basically to keep running when you shut the lid. The problem is, in either case, that doesn't turn off the LCD, which is the biggest consumer of power inside the notebook. So you're not going to have a huge amount of battery life, Brandon. Maybe a couple hours.
now just to let you know, Brandon, that if you do shut, there's actually an application called Kiz Mac that you can. Have you messed around with that at all?
Yeah, I've used it a little here and there.
Okay, that one is going to allow you to actually. It'll have an option there saying "Don't go to sleep."
Oh, okay, cool.
And you can check that box, and that'll make it so that it's running no matter what you're doing. Pat has a link he wants to show you. Then I have a couple I want to show you.
Okay, cool.
I think the thing we want to tell you more than anything else is you want to be really careful when you're running around with your notebook.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you're skating, you're like on regular blades.
Yeah.
Are you like the most brilliant skater ever?
I've been skating for 5 years, so.
So basically you still dump once in a while, right?
Every once in a while.
Okay.
That can be dangerous.
Get a really good backpack, right? Something like Spire USA makes some amazing
We
backpacks.
love these.
They have really thick pads on the inside, the equivalent of an envelope that wraps around your notebook. These aren't cheap. I've got one that's 4.5 years old. I think 4 years old now. It's lasted longer than any backpack I've ever owned.
And they actually come with the last one that I had. It came with a special insert for your laptop that even was super thick, and it was great. You could practically drop just the insert, and your laptop would be okay.
Yeah, there's also, you basically can find what Kevin's describing as an envelope for that. And if you go to probably a local good, like if you have REIs out where you are, if you can get to one, they'll usually actually for like $20, JanSport makes a pretty good one. It's a nice big thick piece of padding. But the idea is, of course I can't find it on here, but the idea is that what you want to do is, notice, by the way, we're using Mozilla and not Internet Explorer. But what you want to do is get a nice thick piece of padding, so if you fall off of your backpack or off your skates, or if you fall off your bicycle, that you're not going to roll over and crush your notebook.
And one other thing you might want to consider, take a look at this here, this link I brought up. You might want to build something like this for your bike. It'll actually hold your laptop for you. It's going to be pretty easy to make, just a few dollars there, cardboard box, some tape will do.
And Brandon, you're being mocked now.
No, you can leave your laptop open. I'm trying to think, like, one of the cool things that you can have an audio alert that'll tell you when you've discovered a new Wi-Fi hotspot, but you do want to leave it open. It'd be kind of cool.
I think I'd leave the backpack, the iBook in the backpack, put a speaker or something, because I think probably the dumbest feeling on the planet would have to be on your scooter with your notebook open, going face first into a parked police car. I can just smell that one coming. It's just, don't look at a notebook while you're riding or skating.
It can be dangerous. Brandon, thank you for the call.
Good luck.
We learn something new every day. bicycling, war cycling,
war skating.
That's it.
Be the first to war skate on your block.
Now, here's Sarah with some information about our Digital Digs Roadshow.
You know what Kevin does when no one's looking? War skipping.
I do not war
Yes, he does.
I've never war skipped.
War skipping on the beach with flowers. It's great. If you haven't heard yet, the G4 Tech TV Digital Roadshow, Digital Digs Roadshow, is heading to Louisville, Kentucky this weekend. So come on out and meet Unscrewed hosts Martin Sargent and Laura Swisher at the Mall St. Matthews on Saturday, June 12th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, June 13th from noon till 5. If you want more information on the roadshow and future roadshows, just go to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs. I have a little hint. Martin loves bees, so bring him anything pollen related. Now, don't go anywhere, because later on in this show, we're going to be exploring the tech behind car safety. But after the break, get your notepads out. It's speed modding time when the screensavers continue.
Welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Norton. Coming up in this half hour, Kevin shows us the latest in crash test technology. Windows or Linux? Which is the OS for you? Are there any downsides to Linux? Our caller wants to know. Right now, though, modding, it is not a black art. As a matter of fact, it doesn't have to be difficult to get started. So says Yoshi if you want to get your feet wet. Well, you know what? Just jump in head first. Yoshi's got some great, easy, and quick mods.
Well, you don't have to jump in head first. These are easy ones. I mean, anyone can do these.
This is more of a gentle step into the shallow section
with
of
the
pool.
exception of, like, you know, maybe a knife or a cutter. Very little adult supervision will even be needed.
If you can operate scissors, you can probably safely complete
You can
these
do
mods.
this first one I love because you keep forgetting that there's drives installed in this
annoys
box.
me to no
It's
end.
stealthing your drives. You're just hiding your lovely little drive with the factory cover.
I never
It's
can
almost
remember these
free,
are in
actually, because you had these mods that came with your case. So you'll pull one of these guys off.
there.
and
The rather
basically-
5 1/4-inch slot covers.
Yeah. So what you'll do is you'll take your wire cutters and you'll start snipping all the excess pieces off there, so you just have the front, little thin piece left is the same color, whether it be metal or plastic. It doesn't matter. Metal's going to take you a little bit longer.
How do you attach that to the drive?
Well, that's why we have this lovely roll of double stick tape here. Double stick tape, duct tape, it's a modder's best friend. So we're just going to put a little slab of this double stick tape right here on the front of the drive, and you'd put it on this section of the drive there, and then you would double stick this guy right on there.
Very cool.
And what the tape does is it actually allows it to flex a little bit, so when you push the cover down, it hits the button.
That's the part that kills me because I never know where
it's
the button is.
It's just flexing down into the button that way.
Can we show a side view of one of the completed ones when it's open?
Yeah, so pop one of these out, and you can see it's just a very little thin piece taped to the front.
Are we talking about 10 minutes?
It took me, I think, literally about 3.5.
Nice.
It's really, well, these are plastic. The metal ones might take you about 10 minutes because it'll be a little more work to get the metal off.
Need a thicker pair of cutters, too.
If you don't want to fool your friends and yourself, you can paint the drive or paint the bezel. And for that, you need your lovely precision adjusting or extraction tool.
That would be a paper clip.
This hole right here, that's so if you don't have any power, you need to get a CD or out, you just press paper clip in that hole. That slides open. To get the front off, you just pop that off. It's easy as that. And then there's these little tabs, kind of like right here, and you just pop those, and that comes off.
And we
It's
have
easy
just
as that.
field stripped a CD-ROM
We just
drive.
field stripped a CD-ROM drive. You're going to use, a model spray paint, something that's meant for plastics. When you're painting, make sure you don't start spraying right on the piece. You're going to start off the edge and go past it, holding about 8 to 10 inches away from the piece, and go really light coats.
Any particular model, any kind of model
Anything
paint?
that's meant for plastic.
Okay.
I like the Carline Fusion, but it comes in like the big cans. So I mean, you can go to buy that little Tester's Model Master paint that's used to paint your models with.
Otherwise, you'll end up with this tacky surface.
Or
that
it'll
will never
craze, it'll
actually-
crack, it just doesn't work as well. Or you
use
have
the
to use
right
plastic primer and it turns into a multi-step process.
Number 3.
Number 3, fan speed controllers. You can go out and buy the big Baybus ones for 30, 40 bucks, and they have the nice variable switches, and some of them just have regular switches.
Or you can head to Radio Shack.
Or you can head to Radio Shack, and you're going to buy a dual pull, double position switch.
Double pull, double throw.
Pull, double throw.
DPDT.
DPDT. I always get that acronym confused.
It's a tough one.
Basically what you're doing is you're going to run one setting at 12 volts and one setting at 7 volts. 7 would be, you're not gaming, you're not using the computer hard, you want to turn the noise down, so you run it at 7. It's real easy, basically, because voltages are a differential of voltages. So ground is treated as a 0. So in the 12 volt position, the 12 volt positive, and the ground would be the leads that are connected to your fan or fans. And in the 7-volt position, the 5-volt and the 12-volt would be your connections, the 5-volt instead of the ground. That gives you a 7-volt difference.
Okay.
And easy as that.
Do we have? I know there's actually 6 tabs on the back of this. How do
There's
you
6
actually
tabs.
wire it?
One's your load and one's your output.
Got it.
So your power comes in on one side, your output comes out. The switch will actually have a little wiring diagram tell you which pole goes where, or use your handy multimeter.
Very good. Lapping your heat sink.
Lapping your heat sink. This is a simple one. You might want to reduce the temperature of your CPU like 2-3 degrees. It's not very difficult. Your stock heat sinks come looking about like this one right here, which are still fairly smooth. You have to use lots of material to get them to go up. But if you lap
can get
them,
a lot smoother.
you can get like a nice little mirror like that one is right there, and that took about like 5 or 6 minutes.
So smoother finish, less heat sink compound.
And well, you're getting rid of those big pits and valleys, because those valleys are where you're having to use heatsink compound to fill it in to try to get heat transfer between the CPU and the heatsink. And the heatsink compound doesn't really transmit heat very well. You want like a just water thin layer.
The
so you want it to
smoother
be
the
as
better.
smooth as best. Yeah.
Okay.
And what you're going to do is you're going to start with like a 400, 320 grit sandpaper, sand it smooth. Make sure you're holding one direction on a nice flat surface, like a marble surface or a glass or something that's
Piece
flat.
of plexiglass.
Piece of plexi might have a little curve into it. I like glass because it actually has a better hard surface, or surfacing plate.
Thick
You happen to
piece
have
of
one
glass,
those.
you don't push it through it?
Yeah, and just even pressure, real even light pressure. And you're going to wet sand, of course. You're not going to do this dry. And then go up to about 600 to 1,000 grit. You double each time, so 400, 600, 1,000.
Got it.
And then you can top it off with some polishing compound, like
Neverdol.
Neverdol or something like that. It doesn't actually even have to be done. I just like to do it just because it looks a little better.
It looks like you get that married because it's there on the.
Well, yeah, you know it's there. You pull it off to show your buddy, and you're going to show him an unpolished thing.
Finally, improving airflow.
Improving airflow. These nice little fan grills that they cover with these for a liability reason, I would imagine, so little kids don't poke their fingers in there.
And cats in their whiskers.
And cats in their whiskers. Well, I have neither cat nor kid, so I know not to poke my fingers in mine.
Good to know.
So I just use a nice heavy-duty pair of wire cutters, and I just go around, and I got this most of the way pre-done here so we can do it on the show. And it's actually with the wire cutters, it's not really going to cause a lot. So that pops off an awful lot of obstruction.
That's like could be like 20% of the airflow, right?
Well, and that's also going to make more noise, not just the airflow. Really? Well, because the air's got to go by that. It's like you blow past a little grate, you're going to make noise blowing past it. And then use a file to clean up all the hard edges.
Because right now those are sharp.
Yeah,
nasty
those will
edges.
cut you right now. So you're going to want to use a file to clean those up, or a Dremel tool or something like that.
Yoshi. Excellent stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, to find out more about these mods, we get modding advice, head on over to Yoshi's site, yoshi.us/forums. Stay where you are. We're going to talk to our next caller about the benefits of Linux or the disadvantages. But up next, you can learn a lot from a dummy. Kevin Rose knows. He's going to tell you all about it when the screensaver continues.
Over the years, you've probably seen commercials for the crash test dummies.
Not the band.
Not the band. The band was terrible. These are human-like dummies that are used in testing cars for safety. I was surprised to find actually how high-tech these dummies are.
Really?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Remember the phrase, you can learn a lot from a dummy? Well, times have changed, and so has the technology. I'm here at the Vehicle Research Center right outside of Washington, D.C., and we're going to take a look at how crash test dummies and technology are making vehicles safer. I'm here with Dave Zuby, Vice President of the Research Center here. Tell me, what do you do here?
Well, this is the Vehicle Research Center. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety was built so that we could run crash tests of cars to assess how well they protect people in crashes.
Excellent. Let's go crash some cars.
Crash some cars.
Tell me exactly what we have going on here. What is this device?
One of the tools we use to position the dummy and also to take vehicle structure measurements for this crash is a coordinate measurement machine. And this coordinate measurement machine has resolvers at seven different articulation points that allows us to determine exactly three-dimensional coordinate positions of either body structure or the dummy.
What's going on the outside here? I noticed you have some tape with it looks like some sensors down the door. What is that to monitor the impact?
Yes, the tape switch allows us to mark time zero on our data acquisition system and also helps us mark time zero on our film. These cameras are set to run at 500 frames per second, so we have one frame every 2 milliseconds or every 2,000ths of a second during the crash.
So how many cameras in total here? 4 looking inside the vehicle at the dummies?
We have 4 looking inside the vehicle at the dummies. We have 3 film cameras, and actually we're testing a new digital video system that is currently set to run at 500 frames per second.
Now, what are all these wires down here on these 2 end devices?
These 2 devices are some of the most important parts of this crash. These are our 2 data acquisition units for each of the dummies. Each of these cables represents 1 data channel for each of the dummies. For example, here we have one of the cables to one of the sensors on the dummies that collects rib accelerations for the dummy.
Wow.
Here we have head acceleration. So we have about 38 channels per dummy that are being collected, each at 10,000 frames per second.
Crash machine checklist complete?
Yes, it is.
Charging is complete. Test will begin in 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. We are on the way.
Raul, what exactly are we collecting now? What's going on?
Okay, we have connected this computer to the data acquisition system on the vehicle that recorded data for both dummies and some vehicle acceleration data. Here on the computer screen we can see head acceleration curves, rib deflections, different data channels for each of the dummies. This looks pretty good for this dummy.
Well, that's it for today. We crashed a couple cars, had a little fun, but kids, listen. These are highly trained professionals. Please don't try this at home.
That's so scary when you see the red dye scraping against the airbag.
Well, they help out, though. All those airbags, the side airbags, can really make a difference. 2004 Jaguar, brand new,
Formerly.
killed me
You were
to see that thing destroyed.
That.
I know.
That was cool.
That was cool.
That was very cool. Coming up after the break, we talked to a caller about the pros and cons of Linux, and that's coming up right after these messages. Be sure to catch tomorrow's show. Why multimedia artist Jay Smith is going to be here to show off his Viditar, a guitar-like instrument that plays video. You can learn how to change Internet Explorer's title bar with Sarah's latest Win tweak, and we're going to show you the coolest flashlight Yoshi's ever found, including an $80,000 flashlight, all on tomorrow's show. Wow. It's more of a searchlight.
$80,000.
You can light up like the other side of the Pacific with this thing.
Nice. Sketchy. Now, Eddie joins us on the phone from Troy, Michigan.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey, how's it going, Pat and Kevin?
We're doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
All right.
I built the computer, and I'm at that time where I need to decide what OS to use.
Ooh.
I've always used Windows, and I want to try Linux. What are the ups and downs of Linux?
Pros and cons of Linux.
Yes.
Not going to have a lot of the latest video games.
Okay.
Probably not going to have a lot of, if you have something, they're probably going to know how to fix it with Linux.
It's more stable. Linux operating system is
considerably more stable.
Is always known as a more stable operating system. Also, I kind of put together the list of things that problems I've had with Linux in the past.
Okay.
Thing is always hard to set up. That thing is a little bit of a pain. But it's different distributions come bundled with different drivers, and a lot of the times my I've had is that when you install I have an HP desktop at home and I plug it in, it gives me 5 different drivers to choose from. I'm not sure exactly which one's going to work the best.
Right.
So you really don't know there. Second thing, CD burning. Always kind of difficult on Linux. Getting XCD rows to work properly has always been a little harder than expected. Now, Eddie, just to let you know, when you dive into the world of Linux, this isn't like Windows when you double-click a setup file to run and install an application. We're talking about, you're going to have to start learning about compiling applications. It's a lot more. How comfortable are you with Windows right now?
Pretty comfortable. Actually, really comfortable.
Consider yourself pretty much like a power user. You good with you go to the DOS prompt every once in a while?
Yep.
Cool. So you can work your way around DOS?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's cool. That's a good step because that means that moving to the terminal, you can buy certain books. One of my favorite books is DOS. It's Unix for DOS users. It tells you the equivalent command of what you would use in DOS.
There's some websites that do a lot of a pretty good job of listing all the DOS Unix web command.
Definitely.
Command equivalents.
A lot of websites. Other things, configuring modems can be a little bit of a bear sometimes. A lot of these new modems that are driverless or jumperless modems, the whole Win modem line of modems,
Lin
sketchy
modems
on the
have gotten
drivers.
pretty good. They've gotten a lot better. A couple years ago, I'd say it's a nightmare. At least now there's a pretty good driver set for a lot of those.
Yeah, Win modems a little bit difficult. Also, file sharing, if you want to share with other people in your house, as far as you can't just right-click and choose sharing. You have to make sure that Samba's installed. It can be a little bit of a pain to configure that kind of stuff. Also, my biggest pet peeve with Linux is changing screen resolutions. You still have to go, and a lot of distros, actually Red Hat's getting better at this, but a lot of distros you have to go and edit the x386 config file, go in there, manually set exactly which screen resolutions your video card supports and which ones you can change into. It's a bit of a pain, but there is some upsides as well, meaning if you go to Linux, you're learning a whole new operating system that not a lot of people know. Down the road, should you choose the path of a system administrator or a server administrator, this could help you make a lot more money, and now is a good time when you can soak all that stuff in when you're young to learn this kind of stuff.
And you'll get used to having your computer running for months, if not years, without crashing, which is just such a beautiful concept if you're used to Windows crashing.
Eddie, do you like games?
I love games.
If you love games, dual boot is the way for you. Install Windows first, then install Linux after. Let the Linux boot manager go ahead and take over things. I really like the latest version of Debian. Really easy to configure packages and install new software. That's a good solution. Mandrake is good for the first-time users.
Another good one. Have you played around with Knoppix or some of the other Linuxes that'll run on your machine without actually installing on your machine, Eddie?
No, I haven't.
That would also be a nice
Great place to start.
Yeah.
Right.
If you play around, download and basically burn a copy of Knoppix onto a disk, it'll boot off your CD-ROM drive. It won't write any files to your hard drive, but it'll allow you to experiment with Linux without actually having to dual boot or install anything on your system.
All right.
That's a great place to start. Also, Knoppix STD, another good one. If you're more into computer security, you want to learn about port scanning and doing all kinds of crazy password cracking and tools, Knoppix STD is a good one as well. But that's a great idea. Start with that first without installing.
A little less painful. Sound
Thank
good, Eddie?
you.
That help you out?
That helped me out a lot.
Excellent, man. Good to hear it.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Eddie. Now here is Leo with another tip. Leo?
Hi, guys. I'm here to tell you about the future of gaming. Text. I can't stop playing this game. It's called Achaea. It is a text-based adventure. Online, though. Massively multiplayer online gaming is, of course, all the rage, but most of the time it's graphical. This is an RPG that harkens back to the good old days, and it is immensely popular. A huge world with the underworld and all sorts of characters and people in there. There's 500 people in there right now. Shall we enter? Shall we enter Achaea? You see, it's text-based. This is a Java client, which is nice. It makes it very easy. They have macros. You can travel around. I'm going to get a little tour of Achaea right now so we can see all the people that are standing around here. I can talk to them. I can have fun with them. I've created a character called Archaeopteryx. Stop by and say hi. Text-based adventures are very hot because your mind is the best graphics engine of all. It feels very real. I know people who spend hours in Achaea. Now, an interesting thing happened recently. The developers of Achaea created a highly addictive drug called Gleam. And people took the drug without realizing it was addictive. Characters were getting sick, going through withdrawal. Some were even dying in here. And that's a serious thing if your troll with 800 experience points kicks off because he was taking Gleam. It's in many ways a very real world and very fascinating. I don't know if you've ever played text adventures. I know I kind of cut my teeth on them. If you haven't, maybe even you youngins want to try this one. Achaea, A-C-H-A-E-A. It's free, works on all platforms, has a Java client, makes it very easy to play. But watch out, Achaea is addictive. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Leo. Now let's check in with Dan for a helpful tip.
Thank you, thank you. I don't know, I prefer Far Cry, Unreal, Battlefield, all that, but great tip, by the way. If you're looking for some great resources for all the helpful Windows tips, tricks, tweaks that Sarah and I do, I've got some great places for you. Now check this out. The first site is dougknox.com. It includes fixes and utilities and even add-ons for your Media Center OS, which is pretty cool. And also the second site is xptuneup.com. It has some of the most obscure and hard-to-find tips, and there's also a forum that lets you talk about all the tips that you've been trying out. So there we are. We're checking up our inbox to see what's on your mind. All that when the Screensavers comes back.
It's that time again. Sarah, do you have any final emails for us?
Yeah, well, the first one concerned you guys' little argument in the beginning of the show about the water cooling Macs. This one comes from, I don't know, Anonymous. Unless somebody cut the Mac heat pipe CPU cooler in half and verified it contained water, it's not likely that's what's being used. Typically, sodium is used because of its vastly superior cooling characteristics.
Interesting. Now, you read an article saying that was water and something else?
So, like, I think Computer World said it's, I guess, polyethylene glycol, or, like, basically antifreeze mixed in with water, but it is supposed to be a closed-loop system. It was kind of interesting.
Right.
They're using
We have a picture at home base, actually. It's kind of cool how they show the whole flow of things. There it is right there.
It's kind of scary, though, that they need to, and maybe this is where PCs are going in the future, but they essentially need a liquid cooling, a water cooling, a superior processor cooling system to hit the speeds they're doing. Mm-hmm. Those processors must be running hot.
I don't. Well, they said no G5 notebooks for another year. So
time to port the G5 to Intel and AMD processors.
I agree.
Or
OS 10.
OS 10.
Yeah,
that would be nice. Please, Steve.
Please, Steve.
Please.
Next one from Tyler in Heber City, Utah, I think. I'm in the process of building my own computer. All I need is a hard drive and memory. What do you recommend is the best place for me to buy these things? Internet, computer store? Should I touch them first? What do you think?
I wouldn't worry about touching them so much.
Yeah, you always go to, what is your favorite site to check prices? Price Watch?
Price Watch is really great. CNET does a good job for some stuff. We've got like 11 computer stores in San Francisco.
Right.
So if you want to, you can call around and find like branded memory locally really cheap. That's unusual.
One price I've always found that's really good, zipzoomfly.com. I don't know if you've used it.
Zipzoomfly.
Zipzoomfly. A few of us around the office have bought a lot of computer parts really cheap.
Cool.
And good customer service.
And the other thing is a lot of times the major memory sites, Kingston and Crucial, and although I guess our lab's kind of down on Kingston these days, but a lot of the major memory sites actually sell direct for a pretty good price.
Cool.
Okay, this one from Hayden. Guys, hello, I love your show. I plan on installing a hardware firewall. I don't really know what are some good firewalls, in the price ranges. I'm assuming he wants to know what's a good firewall that's not that expensive.
Right.
Well, like the basic Linksys, home router firewall.
The little NAT action. Yeah. We like that.
Starts at around $50. Does the job. It's in theory you might be able to crack it, but who's going to bother? They're just going to go for open systems.
And then you always like Smoothwall.
Smoothwall is cool. Smoothwall is an open source project. Bulletproof Linux routers are easy to install. Smoothwall.org is the location for that.
Excellent.
Are we out of time? Was that it?
30 seconds left.
Wow. One quick one?
I don't have any more.
I guess that's it for this edition of the Screensaver. I'm Patrick Norton.
And I'm Kevin Rose. Thanks for joining us. We'd like to thank our guests Mark Thompson and Dave Zuby. I can't say the last one. Raul Arubula from the Vehicle Research Center. See you next time and have a great night. That was awesome.